And it's all yours. Go ahead and start recording.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here and welcome to our webinar, A Holistic Approach to Stress Management, where we're going to be discussing the topic of natural and healthy ways to manage stress. And this is a really important topic to cover because stress can cause so many negative effects on our health and overall well-being. And stress is something that has definitely been on the rise in recent years, just with everything going on with COVID, with uncertainty. And that's on top of normal day-to-day stress at work or in our personal lives that we're dealing with. So if you're feeling stressed right now, you're not alone. Today's panel will talk about healthy ways to reduce stress and also ways to make yourself just more resilient and less vulnerable to stress in general. So I'm going to just briefly introduce each of our panel members, and then I'm going to turn it off to them and we'll get right into it. So first presenter we have today is Dr. Tracy Whitney, who owns Whitney Wellness, and she specializes in acupuncture, massage, herbal medicine, and other natural remedies to improve health. So she'll be talking a little bit about acupuncture and Qigong breathing to manage stress. Next, we'll have Christine McNamara, founder of McNamara Wellness, registered dietitian and health coach, who's passionate about nutrition and how it affects our overall well-being. So she'll be talking about diet and some ways to avoid stress eating. And of course, there's myself, Stephanie, of 7 Spheres Martial Arts. I'm a martial artist and health enthusiast, and I will be talking about exercise and how exercise helps to reduce and manage stress. So with that, we'll get right into it. Our first presenter is going to be Tracy. I'll turn that over to you, Miss Tracy.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Tracy Whitney with Whitney Wellness. I have been, you can go ahead and go through the slide. It kind of just goes through an introduction that I'm going to be talking a little bit about Qigong breathing, acupuncture, and how that helps with stress relief and anxiety. So I've been a doctor of Chinese medicine now for 5 years, a massage therapist for 18. And I have my practice here in Poway, California. I specialize in pain reduction, pain management, stress relief, and really just overall healing your body through just naturally through acupuncture, herbs, nutrition, and a little bit of Qigong. So you can go to the next. So a lot of people maybe don't know what Qigong is. So basically Qigong is an exercise or breathing technique that helps you balance your body, mind, and spirit. Qigong helps harmonize your body and reduces stress and anxiety through breath and movement. Both acupuncture and Qigong helps improve your vitality and helps balance your emotional stability. So basically what Qi means is vital energy. Gong means cultivation. So in Chinese medicine, Qigong cultivates the Qi to connect with natural flow of life. And through breathing practices, you're able to move that Qi through your body. So what is it called? It's called the original breath. So if you think about it as infants or babies, they naturally breathe from their abdomen, which is called the lower dantian. And as life happens, stress happens, environmental, whatever it is, later on, we start doing this shallow breathing, and that breath barely gets to your lungs and it hardly ever gets to the abdomen. And then so what happens is Qi stagnates, blood is stagnating, and then we have issues in the body, whether it be digestive issues, pain in the body like back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, doesn't matter. And then of course, stress and anxiety. And especially, you know, what's been happening over the last couple of years with the pandemic and COVID and lungs being affected, a lot of us really just aren't breathing the way we can to help move that chi and eliminate some of those stressors in the body. So if you want to go ahead and go to that next slide, I am going to start you all off by maybe just showing you how to do a little bit of Qigong breathing. And I really encourage you to do this maybe when you first wake up in the morning, when you sit and have your coffee and you start thinking about all the stressors that are going on in your day and your life. Maybe take even just 2 minutes to do a little bit of breathing. So if you want to join me right now, all you're going to simply do is, whether you're standing or you're sitting, you want to make sure you open your body and lengthen your spine, and you can place one or both palms right there on the belly. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take a nice, slow, deep breath through your nose, allowing that breath to get to the abdomen, fill those lungs with air, and then you're going to slowly exhale, allowing that abdomen to contract. And just think about that belly button getting closer to the spine. So I'll just do it 2 more times. And that's as easy as that. Just being able to take that nice breath, get that chi to move through your body, really helps eliminate that stagnation that's in your body. And what you want to concentrate on is making those breaths longer, a little stronger, and deeper in. Okay. So next slide, I'm going to just talk a little bit about acupuncture along with the Qigong. So not only as an acupuncturist and Chinese medical doctor, obviously we do acupuncture. And so a lot of people I know out there are very afraid of needles and, oh my gosh, I'm never going to try acupuncture. I just want you all to know that yes, acupuncture involves needles, but your acupuncturist has lots of tools, lots of modalities to use. They can do acupuncture, they can do acupressure, they have herbs, supplements, Qigong, whatever it is, lots of different things, maybe massage to help with all of those. But what is acupuncture, and how does it help with stress and anxiety? First off, they're tiny disposable needles that are placed in specific spots of the body to stimulate the body's natural feel-good hormones such as dopamine and serotonin, and reduces the level of stress hormones like cortisol. So I brought my little doll here to show you. This is kind of just an example. All these lines are the meridians or the energy pathways that are all in the body that sometimes will get clogged, if you will, or there's a blockage. And so what the needle does, or even acupressure does, is it helps relieve that blockage that you might have in the body. And that blockage can be the purpose or the reason or the root cause of those digestive issues that you might be having, or the pain in your body that you might be having, and especially stress and anxiety. There's actually lots of studies to prove that a specific spot in acupuncture is just below the knee, called stomach 36. This was actually done through Harvard University, and they, through imaging, was able to see when the needle was placed, that the energy flow actually through the body, up the spine, into the brain, and they were able to see through other tests that dopamine and serotonin was released. And when someone finishes with that acupuncture treatment, they come off the table feeling just more relaxed, much more calm, and feel good. And they can go through their day And things actually start then from there, start feeling better. That pain that you might have in your neck or your back or your stomach or your digestive issues, whatever's going on, slowly start to decrease just from relieving and releasing those blockages that are through the body. So, but if you, I'm sure many of you have lots of questions exactly how that goes, and there's so much more to talk about. I'm certain you can take and ask your acupuncturist or myself any of those questions that you might have. So you can, I just want to thank you for attending today. I think you're going to get a lot out of this. And next we have Christine McNamara to talk to you about nutrition and then exercise with Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tracy.
Great. Well, thank you, Tracy. I'll get started. So welcome, everybody. I'm Christine McNamara, and today I'll be discussing the nutrition piece, so understanding and managing stress eating. So I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and owner of McNamara Wellness. I've been in practice for over 14 years, and I started my private practice last year. And I offer personalized nutrition counseling and coaching both virtually and in person to help clients feel their best and meet their health and nutrition related goals. Low energy, poor digestion, and mental health are just a few of the things that can be improved with balanced nutrition and lifestyle habits. That's totally my philosophy, and to personalize to what is going on with your life. And I'm located in Rancho Bernardo, is the in-person place. So let's go to the next slide. So today I'll be discussing stress and appetite, meal timing, and give you tips to manage stress eating. And you can go to the next slide. So let's talk about stress and appetite. Have you ever felt like grabbing a bag of chips or a piece of cake or whatever you can find after a stressful day at work? Well, you're not alone. And studies show that stressful events activate systems associated with metabolism, cognition, and reward. So what does that mean for your waistline or for your weight? Well, it means that the candy bar or whatever you're reaching for after a stressful event or series of stressful events may be driven by a combination of physiological and psychological factors. Next slide. So studies show that women with high chronic stress levels tend to engage in emotional eating. So I think we can all relate to that picture on the screen. I know I can at times. We have a lot that's going on. So in addition to the psychological responses to stress, there may be some physiological responses. So during a stressful event, the body releases cortisol. So that's the hormone that helps the body protect itself. However, if the cortisol levels are elevated for a prolonged period of time, such as during repeated and constant stressors, this can lead to increased food consumption, fat storage, and weight gain. Next slide. So let's talk about timing. So does timing matter when you eat? So one study from Johns Hopkins Department of Psychiatry showed that timing may play a role in appetite and gut hormone response to meal and stress challenges. So it showed that the afternoon and evening may be a high risk period for overeating, particularly paired with stress exposure, and for those with binge eating. So this means that your commute home or after your workday ends or evening meal may be a time period when you have greater likelihood to eat more than you should. So to help curb this increased change, pay attention to your snacking habits after a long day of work to help prevent weight gain and mindless eating. Okay, next slide. It's important to remember to start your day with balanced meals. So here's a great visual. I like this plate method. It did replace the food guide pyramid. And I'm definitely a visual learner. So you can see choosemyplate.gov gives you something to go by. It gives you kind of like this template. So on the left, you can see color. So that is produce. So colorful fruits and vegetables. So your fist is a cup. So what's recommended is you get at least 2 cups. So like an apple and an orange in a day. Vegetables, 3 cups. So if you are dividing your day up into 3 meals, you can definitely get in 1 cup of cooked or raw vegetables. And then on the other half of the plate or your meal, you can see carbohydrate. And so you can see grains in there. So we recommend carbohydrates that have more fiber. So it could be the skin of the potato that you're eating. It could be, you know, quinoa, barley added to a soup. It could be any carbohydrate with a little bit more grain to it. Try to get half of them more whole grain for increased fiber. It helps you to chew and slow down when you eat. And then protein is also on here. So every meal that you're eating, you definitely want a protein source. And of course, we have plant and animal proteins, and you could have meatless meals. Beans are a great example of a plant protein, tofu, for example. And so you want to be varying up also your protein sources as well. And depending on your health conditions, what type of meal plan you choose for yourself. And then you want to have calcium in your day as well. So you can see on the slide, it says dairy if you're lactose intolerant. Good news is there's lots of dairy-free alternatives. So you could have a lactose-free type of milk. You could choose a plant-based protein milk as well. Just look at that label to see how much calcium is in it, if it's a good source of calcium. So you want to have a variety of things when you're eating a meal. And so not one of these is better than the other. And I talked about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates do get bashed a lot. There's nothing wrong with carbohydrates, but as you can see, if you're eating just a bowl of rice or a bowl of pasta, for example, you're not going to get filled up because carbohydrates digest the quickest. So we'll take that pasta, let's say it's a cup of pasta, you have some meatballs with it, and then you have a salad with it, 1 or 2 cups of salad. That is this visual right here, and that is actually going to make you feel more satisfied and help you with the portion control. So keep that visual in mind, because I know there's a lot of trendy diets out there. I'm not going to go into detail on those. I just wanted to give you kind of a basis of how to help you with balancing your blood sugars, balancing your energy throughout the day, and ultimately with portion control. Because as Tracy mentioned, as a baby, with breathing, it's the same thing with eating. As an infant, you knew when you were full, when you were hungry, and we can regulate. We just have to remember to listen to our body. Intuitive eating is what it's called. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So stress may be a part of life, but it doesn't have to get the best of you. Here are some tips to follow each day to stay calm, nourished, and healthy. So number 1, practice mindful eating. So know that your craving may be a result of a stressful event. We can't get away from stress. There's different types of stress as well. But ask yourself, are you truly hungry? So sometimes it's impulse that we just automatically go to food, but ask yourself, are you hungry? Perhaps you're thirsty. Did you have a mixed meal like I just explained before? Did you just grab one food group? Did you put them all together? You're going to notice a difference in how you're feeling. So wait a minute before eating. Maybe you just actually need to get a break. Maybe you need to get up and stretch your legs. So practice mindful eating, being more aware of what you're doing, trying not to eat in front of a screen. I know that's very hard to do, but that's something also to help you practice mindfulness. Find healthier options. Remember that color from the My Plate. So here we see a lot of color on the screen. That is something to remember at meals, but also with snacks as well. So here's some healthier options if you truly need something, a type of snack. So if you're craving something sweet, something like, so with meals, I talked about 3 food groups. With snacks, it's 2. So an apple with a nut butter on top. There's a combination of carbohydrate, protein, and healthy fats to help curb your appetite and satisfy that sweet. Savory, you could try something like roasting or baking chickpeas. Actually is a fun type of crunchy type of snack. You could try some multi-grain chips with spread like guacamole. You know, sour cream, not sour cream, but cottage cheese is something that's fun to also dip in if you like that. Or maybe some guacamole with some veggie sticks. That's another great taste for savory. Okay, next slide. And third is to watch portion size. So instead of taking the whole bag or the whole box with you, you want to make sure you put that in a bowl or on a plate so that you actually close that bag, put it back in the cabinet, and then you're eating what you want. And then if you actually want more, you have to physically get up, and sometimes we don't want to get up again. So that's another way to help you with that portion control. And check the package label to see what one serving size is and try to stick to it. So that's something else that could be helpful. Okay, next slide. In addition to with healthy snacking, I love this picture because you can see that helps you with maybe some meal prep. You could make, if you're working from home or you're going back to the office, you definitely can do a meal prep of a snack. So here you see that they're not trying to fill up on just one food group, like you're not going to fill up on blueberries. So you could have blueberries with some nuts, maybe some seeds in there, and then maybe you see a little bit of a whole grain in there as well with quinoa, some colorful tomatoes and cucumbers in there. So make sure you add variety to what you're eating and make it fun. Prep it, make it yourself. That's one way to help you with saving on the sodium, the fat content, calories, etc. And don't forget about vibrant vegetables. No matter what you like, what's in season, that's another way to help you with cost, but also give you variety. You always want to be adding variety to the meals and snacks that you're eating. And have something that you have, maybe there's a bar in your purse, maybe you keep something in your car if you're on the go a lot. So remember to pack things to go as well. Okay, next. And so remember, if you need more guidance with your eating habits or disordered eating, to reach out for support. If you need, I couldn't go into detail into all of that, but there is a lot to eating habits, stressful eating, emotional eating. Definitely reach out to a registered dietitian, nutritionist, or your healthcare professional to help you with that support that you may need. And I believe that's my last slide with, or actually you could go to the next slide, which is, yeah, there it is. Yeah, so there's my email and contact information there. So thank you.
All right. Thanks, Christine. That last slide with the pizza and burgers making me hungry. Love it. All right. Awesome. So next, I'm going to talk about exercise to relieve stress. As I mentioned, I'm the owner of Seven Spheres Martial Arts Academy. I've been a martial artist for over 20 years, fitness enthusiast. I got passionate about exercise back when I was in high school. I also formerly worked as a personal trainer, group fitness instructor at a couple of gyms, and then I'm also the committee chair of the Health and Wellness Committee. So I enjoy talking about exercise. What I'm going to touch on is how physical exercise is vital in managing and relieving stress. And it's important to realize that lack of exercise, poor posture, and too much sitting all cause stress on the body physically. And when there's physical stress placed on the body, it also can increase emotional stress and just make stress in general harder to deal with. So exercise is the last part of this sort of whole approach of how to make ourselves healthy and resilient and better able to deal with stress as it comes our way. So first I wanted to get into the physical benefits. There's a lot of physical benefits, but specifically the ones that relate directly to stress. So first of all, regular physical exercise helps slow down the release of stress hormones, specifically adrenaline and cortisol, which we know is a stress hormone. It helps prevent diseases like heart disease, hypertension, obesity, and all of these conditions just cause more stress and strain on the body, not to mention emotional stress when you're dealing with, physical ailments and things that causes. Regular exercise helps increase your physical energy and just overall sense of well-being. The more you exercise, the more blood and oxygen flows to your body and just the better energy you have, not to mention you just feel better about yourself after exercising. Some of the healthy hormones that are increased by exercise. So Tracy talked about these first two, dopamine and serotonin, as well, with how acupuncture and qigong can help increase these as well. So exercise increases dopamine in the brain, which is the hormone that enhances the feel-good neurotransmitters. And this helps to alleviate not only stress, but actually feelings of depression. So if you've had a really rough day or having a rough time, getting a good workout is definitely going to help alleviate those negative emotions. Also with serotonin, often when we're stressed, it affects our sleep, which in turn makes stress even worse to deal with. And exercise actually releases serotonin in the brain, which promotes a good night's sleep and has also been shown to improve your mood, your digestion, and your memory. With the last two hormones, they aren't exactly stress-fighting hormones, but testosterone and estrogen are hormones that, as they decrease, it causes us to age and age more quickly. So exercise has been shown to boost both of these hormones and therefore slow down the signs of aging. And the healthier and younger we feel, the stronger, better we feel to take on difficult tasks and challenges. So our mental and emotional benefits of exercise, first of all, it boosts the mood. Not only does it increase the dopamine in your brain that makes you feel good, but also increases endorphins, which are often known as that runner's high that you hear about after a good workout. Exercise can boost your confidence. Low confidence can definitely contribute to stress. Maybe you're not speaking up for your needs at work or at home because you're lacking confidence, or you're just not feeling good about your body. And so exercise, it transforms the way you look, which gives you more confidence about your body, but it's also just empowering and leaves you just feeling stronger and better about yourself. Exercise provides a healthy outlet. One of the things I love most about exercise is that it just kind of takes your mind off of things that are going on in your life, especially when they're negative. It's kind of like a pause where you just get to take a break out of what's going on and focus on something healthy and for yourself. And then it can also provide a social networking community, depending on what type of fitness program you join, whether it's group class or maybe a hiking group or something like that. It can definitely help provide a positive peer support group, and where you're all working together toward a common healthy goal and encouraging one another. And these positive social interactions can help to alleviate feelings of stress and depression. So some really key things there that exercise helps with in terms of mental and emotional stress. So to give you more motivation to exercise, what happens when you don't exercise? So the first thing is weight gain is generally what happens. Experts estimate that adults over the age of 30, if they don't follow a balanced diet and regular exercise, will put on 0.6 to 1.7 pounds annually, which doesn't seem like a lot, but over time that does add up, and extra weight just contributes to extra health problems. Higher blood pressure can be a challenge as well. Regular physical activity makes your heart stronger and able to pump more blood with less effort. So as a result, the force on your arteries decreases, which helps to lower your blood pressure. Osteoporosis is a big one, especially for women. So a sedentary lifestyle actually encourages the loss of bone mass. What happens when we exercise, specifically with strength training like weights, a process called bone remodeling happens where the bones actually become stronger. Not exercising can put you at a greater risk of heart disease. Being inactive can actually lead to fatty material building up in your arteries. And of course, if your arteries get clogged and damaged, that can lead to heart attack. Decreased energy and lethargy. As I mentioned, the exercise increases the flow of blood and oxygen to the body. So when you're not doing that, you just feel more tired and sluggish. And then with aging, regular exercise really helps to delay the onset of a lot of chronic conditions and diseases that go along with aging. It helps to stave off cognitive decline, reduce the risk of falls, alleviate depression, and help alleviate the stress and anxiety. So it's just important to remember our bodies were made to move. When they don't, just like an old car sitting in the driveway, they start to rust over time. So now that we covered why you should exercise, you want to know how much how much, right? What are the minimum recommendations? So this will vary from person to person, but these numbers and general guidelines are based on the American Heart Association and the CDC. When it comes to aerobic activity, you want to get at least 150 minutes per week, which is about 30 minutes a day, 5 days of the week of moderate intensity, such as brisk walking or jogging, or 75 minutes of more vigorous aerobic activity, like say kickboxing or spin class. You also want to make sure you're at moderate to high muscle strengthening is at least 2 days a week, and this can be resistance or weight training. You want to make sure you spend less time sitting. So if you're somebody who has a desk job and you find that you're having to sit for long periods of time each day, getting up and walking around periodically to take a break from sitting and stretching, and that intensity activity can offset some of the risks of being sedentary. You can gain even more benefits from exercise by being active at least 300 minutes or 5 hours per week. And that doesn't have to be hardcore CrossFit training. That can be, you know, if there's a sport you like say a tennis or volleyball or something like that. The more active you are, the better. And then you want to increase the amount and intensity gradually over time that you exercise. So a couple of challenges people have with exercise is, you know, the motivation and getting the time in, and then also sticking with it. So first, I'm going to go over some tips to get the recommended minimum requirements. The first one is start small. If you're somebody who's not exercised much at all, I don't recommend that you start by waking up an hour early and trying to hit the gym and go really hard every day of the week. You know, start with something like a 20-minute walk each day, and then you build onto it after that. Schedule it. So we're all super, super busy. If you don't carve out the time during your day to make it happen, it's highly likely something else is going to take priority. So schedule it on your calendar, plan your day around it. Next, you can break it up into shorter sessions. So if you're trying to get that 30-minute minimum each day and you don't have a 30-minute block because you're busy, you can do a 15-minute block in the morning and then a 15-minute block later in the day or evening. Studies show that actually there's just as much benefit breaking it up into 2 sessions versus doing a full session at once. For resistance and weight training, try body weight training. So if you don't have a gym membership or you don't like the idea of lifting weights, you know, body weight training like push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, those are beneficial to the strengthening of the body and the muscles as well. And then play on the weekends. Why not? You know, it's a lot of fun if you can find something like taking long walks, hikes, finding somebody to go on a bike ride with, finding a sport that you really like. That can be an enjoyable and stress relieving outlet. And you're also getting that exercise in. So how to stay on track with your exercise. First thing I like to recommend is find something you enjoy. So don't think that you have to exercise a certain way. If you don't like going to the gym and running on the treadmill, then don't make that your form of exercise. You know, a lot of different ways you can exercise. There are different groups, you know, there's different classes. So find something that you really like and will look forward to it, and you're going to stick with it a lot more. Consider joining a class. One thing I like about group classes is you have an instructor who takes sort of the guesswork out of the workout for you. You know, the instructor is there to push you. Oftentimes we let somebody else push us harder than we'll push ourselves in our workouts. And you have others there in the class to just motivate you and keep you accountable. Commit to making it a habit. So recognize how important it is to lead a healthy, active lifestyle and have the mindset that it's not optional, that it's something you're just going to make happen. The more you make it a habit and a way of life, the more it happens naturally without you really having to force yourself into it. Set some goals. If you have something to aim at, you're a lot more motivated, and then you have a reward system set up for yourself too. It's just something to enjoy when you complete those goals. And then last, consider including a friend or two. Exercise can definitely be more fun with friends, and you can encourage each other to stick with it and just help keep each other accountable. So it's super important to remember that exercise is really vital to make your body strong, but keep you resilient and help you handle both environmental and emotional stressors as you go. So I know we covered a lot today. these things that we've covered aren't quick fixes. They're really part of a complete and long-term solution to live a healthy lifestyle and just be better able to handle stress when it comes. And my advice would be to, take 1, 2, or 3 things from what we've covered and start now. Don't wait, get on the right track, and things will spiral in the right direction from there. Take care of your body now, because your body will take care of you as you go. So that concludes our formal presentation. With that, we'll open up if there are any questions for any of our panel members. We will answer those questions right now. Anita, you're it.